We're now finishing day 3 of the Trump government shutdown, and it is nearly impossible to see how Trump and the Republicans are going to come out of this mess victorious. They keep sticking to their guns. They keep trying to tell the big lie, but no one is believing it. And new polling shows why no one is believing it, and that polling spells disaster for the Republicans. The devil, they say, is in the details, and what is doubly surprising about this poll is that MAGA Republicans are following those details. And no, I'm not talking about Harry Enton's review of the overall numbers on the shutdown, but they are instructive. Here's a quick look that shows Republicans are not going to turn this thing around.
Is that more Americans are blaming Republicans than Democrats, which I think really goes against the conventional wisdom, because a lot of folks are saying, hey, Democrats are so divided. But at this particular point, Americans are placing the blame on the Republican shoulders, at least the plurality of them are.
What Harry Enton's polling shows is that Republicans are absolutely delusional, thinking they can come out on top of this when they have always taken the blame for a government shutdown. They are Charlie Brown kicking the football. But the thing that Harry's survey of polls does not reveal is why no one is believing the big lie. And it's because, for once, Democrats have made a clear case that this is about people's health insurance. Everyone's health insurance. Voters are so clear that the Republican plan will so dramatically raise rates that some Democratic pundits are actually arguing whether they should let the Republican plan kick in and let FAFO take over. Watch.
There are plenty of folks on the left who say, you know what? If Republicans have done this and they control all branches of the government, we should allow the American people to feel the pain of what Republican policies are. I mean, you can't keep, if you want to touch the stove, at some point you got to let them touch the stove. And this is a terrible thing to have to say, because millions of people will be hurt by it. But what's the other option, right? They have to see the consequences of what Republican policies will do to them and their families. And Democrats keep bailing them out.
When people get to the polls, they're not going to be remembering the details of the shutdown. But if this hurts the economy, that is going to affect them. It's going to affect the way they're thinking about things. I think that's a danger for Trump, who seems to be relishing this at the moment. But he's going to have to answer for the economy, and Republicans in Congress are the ones who will, sink or swim on that in the midterms. So, that's something that I'm thinking about really here is not how this shutdown itself plays, but what the broader effect is come, a year from now.
So the core issue for these pundits is whether Republican voters will remember come midterms who's to blame for their misery. But according to a new Kaiser Family Foundation survey, the answer is yes, and that translates into a big no for Republicans. The poll found that 59% of Republican voters were in favor of extending Obamacare subsidies, the core issue at stake among Congress as its members fail to reach an agreement. But it only gets worse for Republicans. The polling also shows that of the 1,334 Americans polled by KFF, between September 23rd and 29th, a total of 78% are in favor of extending the Obamacare subsidies. Democrats favored extending the subsidies at a rate of 92%. And of those that describe themselves as MAGA supporters, 59% were in favor of extending the subsidies. So the KFF polling is not just Republicans, but self-described MAGA supporters. Congressional Republicans have been so subservient to the billionaires that bought them their seats that they really thought they could strip away health insurance from their own constituents and just blame it on liberals and immigrants. Well, the billionaires aren't going to be able to bail them out of this one. The masters just sold their servants down the river. And how can you tell which way the wind is blowing on this one? Just check in with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, not surprisingly, has no grasp of this situation. Greene just posted this. If Republican senators wanted to pass the CR, they could, by using the nuclear option to override the 60-vote rule. And this is exactly why the Democrats can call the Republicans bluff. If Republicans try and go it alone and pass the CR, then they will have to completely own the big, beautiful bill and taking away people's health care. There's no way on earth they want to own that? But what this latest polling also shows is that there's nowhere to hide on it either. MAGA voters already have the GOP's number on this. And when you combine it with destroying agriculture through tariffs and ICE raids, increasing inflation, and driving up unemployment, it's really not likely that they are going to forget when the midterms roll around. So the real question is, what does MAGA do when Trump tries to suspend elections and stick them with the bill? I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. You'll not only help out our channel, you'll be taking concrete action and helping get rid of Trump and the MAGA movement who ushered him in.